I'm Joe Chili, weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on the Big Weck. Joining us on today's Buffalo on the Rise is Charlie Flynn, who is the author of South Buffalo Hooligans. You know, Charlie, do you consider yourself a hooligan?
Not now, no.
At one point in your...
Maybe in my youth.
In your past?
Maybe in my youth.
In your youth?
Maybe.
All right. I think, you know, the book is very interesting. I was talking to you about going through some of it last night. And, you know, there's a chapter where you talk about President John F. Kennedy's assassination. And the things that rang true in that, I mean, the fact that I was in Catholic school. I was in second grade. I think you mentioned you were in first grade when second grade. And I just remember we had to get out of school early. So we were excited about that, but didn't really understand why we had to get out of school early. The nuns at the time were like Marine drill sergeants. Excuse the expression, sisters. But, you know, but they seemed to show very little emotion. But they were, you know, either crying or sobbing or obviously disturbed during this day. So, I remember that, and I remember getting home. My mom wasn't home for some reason or another. My grandmother was there to kind of keep an eye on us, and she was crying. You know, so it was so unreal to me, you know what I mean? And you kind of bring this out in the book. And I've got to give you credit. You do this in a number of instances, but that's just one instance that I think that everybody can identify with. I certainly could. And you said the book itself is a combination of facts, and some of it is, you know, stories to get the idea across?
Well, the different characters come from a compilation of the people I grew up with, and the stories are a compilation of the stories that happened. Some of them are, I've changed them and, you know, moved them around, moved the timelines around a little bit, but it's pretty much what was going on in South Buffalo in the 60s and 70s.
So when you decided to put the audiobook out, okay, now what's the difference? I know in the audiobook, you're like a myriad of different voices. We're going to get into some of those. When you're doing the written book, is it much more difficult to get the point of the story across without using the voice?
Well, it's different because with the voice, you can do the voice inflections, you can, you know, go high and low, you can move around. You can't do that on the written page. It's different, but it's much more exciting. Maybe someday they'll invent video books, and you'll be able to actually do the, you know, the hand gestures and all the rest of the stuff with the lines. Maybe we'd start a new thing here. We'll start doing video books. My
4-year-old granddaughter has a book where you get a pen and you touch something and it reads the story to you. So you could read the story with those inflections.
My 3-year-old grandson has one too.
Do you? See, you know exactly what we're speaking of.
Yeah.
Some of the individuals that you portray in the book. We have Sean Connery. Can you give us an idea of how he sounds in the audiobook?
Goldfinger, where do you hide your brass knuckles in that outfit?
All right. What about Richard Nixon? We all remember Richard Nixon, right?
I am not a crook.
You said that very convincingly. You know, when did you realize that you could do these different voices?
In second grade.
Really?
I did every teacher every year after 2 weeks. No problem.
And of course, you never got in trouble for that.
Well, my aunt was a nun, so there was a buffer.
Your aunt was a nun. Sister Mary Charlie Flynn.
Yeah.
All right. What about Jimmy Stewart?
Clarence, is that you?
Clarence, you remember that? Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. People will be watching that. You know, I want to get into some of the local characters. And you can't think about Buffalo and think about characters without Jimmy Griffin. Right?
There was 2 of them. They come through the front door, and they slap my wife. They run out the back door, over the fence. Nobody saw nothing.
I remember a story about Jimmy Griffin, and he used to have a police officer who used to go around with him. And at one time, he was in a local establishment, and somebody was getting in an argument with him. And I don't know how true the story is. Jimmy Griffin proceeded to go into the restroom. This guy followed him into the restroom, okay? So Jimmy Griffin came back out, and the police officer, security guard, was there, and he goes, "Any problem?" He goes, "Oh, no, he's on the floor in the restaurant." So I guess that kind of took care of that. Let's do maybe one more here. How about Walter Cronkite?
This is Walter Cronkite. December 7th, 1941 will live in infamy.
Very good. Very good. How's the response been for the book so far?
The book sales were good, but the audio book sales are very good. I'm very pleased with what's happening.
Really?
Yes.
And would you like to do that again?
Another audiobook?
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to if I wrote another book.
Yeah. Well, it takes a little bit of time to do all this. I'm impressed by it, and the book itself, I can't do it justice, just to describe it, and can't do the audiobook justice, but you've given a little sample of it. So the book's available where? And the audiobook?
It's the book is available on Amazon, and the audiobook is available on Amazon and Audible.
All right.
That's what all the young people listen to now.
All right, Charlie, thank you very much. That's good. For more information or a copy of Charlie Flynn's book, go to Amazon and search for South Buffalo Hooligans. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by South Buffalo Hooligans.
And don't forget to join me weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m., the Joe and TJ Show on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Wack.